Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we are going to bring to you the Hiroshima Carp and the Saitama Seibu Lions in an exhibition game from the Belluna Dome in Saitama, as the two clubs here are, just over a week away from squaring off into the regular season for real. First of all, we're going to give you the starting lineups from the visitors from Hiroshima. Leading off and in center field wearing number 37 is Shinsuke Noma. Hitting second and playing third base is number 10, Matt Reynolds. Batting third and playing shortstop is number 51, Kaito Kazono. In the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting is number 55, Ryuhei Matsuyama. Batting in the 5 spot in left field is number 9, Shogo Akiyama. Batting sixth at first base is number 95, Jake Shiner. Batting seventh in right field is number 60, Shinsuke Tamura. Hitting eighth at second base is number 33, Ryusuke Kikuchi. And batting ninth is the catcher, Tsubasa Aizawa. And they'll be facing the right-hander, Kaima Taira, who is taking to the hill this evening. And the first pitch of the ball game as we are underway is a breaking ball that misses Tonoma for ball one. And now he takes a fastball in the outside corner, and the count is even at 1-1. During the 2023 season, Noma hit .286 with no homers and 26 RBIs. He swings at a fastball. He grounds it out one hop over to third. Fielded by Moriyama, he fires to first. And that will retire Noma on a ground out 5-3 for the first out of the inning here in inning number 1. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Matt Reynolds. Reynolds is making his first appearance to the NPB. As Reynolds had spent time in Major League Baseball, there were some wholesale changes. He is locking down third base. Last year it was Matt Davison, the import player who was with the Carp. The first pitch is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. He's a 5 for 24, batting .208 in the exhibition season is Reynolds, as he takes a breaking ball inside. The count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Reynolds. He bats from the right side. And the pitch from Tyra is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep center field. Racing back on it on the edge of the warning track and backpedaling to make the grab is the center fielder Nishikawa. And that is going to retire Reynolds for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 gone here for the Carp in their half of the first inning. And that's going to leave it all up to Kaito Kazono. Defensively tonight, for the Lions, from left to right field, it is Franchi Cordero in left. The center fielder is Manaya Nishikawa. In right field, it's Yuji Kaneko. And the first pitch delivered to Kazono is a breaking ball missing upstairs for a ball. Around the horn from first to third, it is Jesus Aguiar at first, Shutotona Saki at second, Sosuke Genda at short. The third baseman is Hayu Moriyama, with the battery of Taira and Suge, as the pitch is a breaking ball swung and missed by Kazono. Here comes the offering by Tyra. It is a breaking ball swung, and this ball is driven into deep right field. Racing back to the warning track and looking up is Kaneko, and he's going to watch that one sail into the seats. Kaito Kazono, who hit only 6 home runs all of the 2023 season, has deposited that breaking ball into the right field seats, and it has given the Hiroshima Carp a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. So 1-0 for the Carp on the home run by Kazono. That is going to bring up the designated hitter, Ryuhei Matsuyama. So it looks like Taira not in a mid-season form yet for the Saitama right-hander. And the first pitch offered here to Matsuyama is a fastball that misses down and in for ball one. The count is 1-0. Matsuyama hit .252 last year with no homers and 27 runs driven in. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count now goes even to 1-1. Taira, for his part, he was 11-7 last year with 23 starts. Fastball swung on and grounded foul down the third base line, and the count's now 1-2. Mainly a bullpen arm for his first 4 years in the NPB. Last year was the first year that he was thrust into a starting role. There were times that he pitched very, very effectively. There was a split-figure pitch swung on, grounded softly over to second. Tonosaki fields it over to Aguiar, and that is going to do it. But there's been early damage here in the inning. There was 1 run on 1 hit. It was the home run by Kazono. No errors, nobody left on base. We are through a half inning. It is the Carp 1 and the Lions coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the first inning when we return. Whether you listen live or on delay, it's always great to have you. Exhibition baseball, we're getting the kinks out, just as the kinks are coming out for next week when it all comes for real. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. We have a 1-0 ball game as the Carp jumped out with a home run off of the bat of Kazono. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. We are moving now to the bottom half of the first inning, and the lefty Shogo Tamura is on the hill here for the Carp. Looks like the Carp are staying with that same type of red uniform that they had last year. Very difficult in which to read. The nameplates are in red. There is a black outline and red across the front. So not an easy jersey to have to take a look at. I don't know why they wouldn't have changed or gone to something more conventional, but certainly watching it on TV is an absolute chore, let alone in person. As the first pitch is delivered to Yuji Kaneko, it's a fastball that misses outside for a ball. Kaneko hit 179 last year with no homers and 2 RBIs. As the pitch is delivered, it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. It one hops the wall. A nice play by the left fielder Akiyama to field it. But cruising into second base with a leadoff stand-up double is Kaneko, and he is aboard here in the first inning with nobody out. And that will bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tonosaki. So Tonosaki strides to the plate. He hit 260 last year. He had 12 homers with 54 RBIs. He also has some wheels. He stole 26 bases last season. And Gracie Lynn is in the house, dropping off some super chat money. Well, Gracie Lynn, thanks for popping in. We appreciate you for checking out and being here as the first pitch is a fastball check swing fouled over the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1. Gracie Lynn has been checking out our trivia questions as we've been popping stuff up on the daily. We didn't put one up today. We're probably going to have to do double duty tomorrow as my schedule had changed. But thanks for Gracie Lynn for stopping by. And there's the pitch. It's a fastball down, and the count goes even to 1-1. We're doing pretty good, and we thank you for jumping into the stream with us tonight. We're getting our exhibition duties out of the way because we've got to try to be able to get ourselves ready for Showtime, which all starts next week. And so that will be the first game of the season. Will go next Friday, Japan time. We'll be up in the wee hours of the morning giving the call of the Hawks and the Buffaloes. As the 1-1 is on the way, it's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2 on Tonosaki. Gracie says she's missed the last couple of trivia questions. She may have to play some catch-up. We didn't post one today. Just no real reason. We've had everything. We've got some preset that launch every day at 6 o'clock Pacific. And today we hadn't done our catch-up, so we missed out on today's question. And there is a theme to that, as there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow right field. And stopping at third is Kaneko, as that ball was down for a base hit. A nice piece of inside-out hitting there by Motoyama, as he was able to stay inside the ball and loop that into right field. So he's aboard with a single. Kaneko advances over to third. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Jesus Aguiar. So I'm curious to see how Aguiar is going to perform here in the NPB. Aguiar is a former MLB All-Star. He has bounced around to a number of teams. He was with Oakland. He'd spent time with the Brewers. He was also with the Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays. So he did a tour of a number of teams. But we actually have a hitter here. Oh, who do we have coming up here? Sorry, check that. Tonosaki's aboard. It's Motoyama coming to bat. This is why it's exhibition baseball for us. They got runners on the corners. Now Motoyama strides to the plate. We are ourselves here a little bit of a challenge because, as I said, we're trying to get our kinks out. We got some new stuff that will be coming into the channel here in the next little bit, but we haven't introduced that yet, as that first pitch is a fastball that misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Motoyama. Saving that for opening night. There's a fastball swung on. It is looped over to second base, just backpedaling and making the catch is the second baseman, Kikuchi. That's going to retire Motoyama. He's gone for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Jesus Aguiar. Gracie Lynn says she remembers Aguiar when he was with the Brewers and the Marlins, felt he was underrated. Certainly with the Brew Crew, he really had himself a great year. I believe that was the year that he had the All-Star season. And then he just sort of petered out. It looked like he may have solved that ever problem or ever issue that the Brewers seem to have as a fastball misses outside for a ball. And that is not having a steady first baseman for a number of years, especially after Prince Fielder had left. It's been a bit of a revolving door at that position. Of course, Rhys Hoskins is manning the fort this year. So 1 ball and no strikes to Aguiar as the lefty works set. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, popped up behind home plate, but that ball is going to drift back into the seats, and the count's going to go even at 1-1. Kind of curious to know what the temperature might be in Saitama. Most of the players are in short sleeve shirts. The third baseman for the Lions, which Motoyama, is wearing a neck collar as if to keep him warm. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Aguiar. And the pitch is a fastball swung on and grounded foul down the third baseline. The count goes to 1-2. Gracie says now that Rhys Hoskins is no longer terrorizing the Braves with the Phillies, that can admit he's good. Yeah, well, it's unfortunate for him, missing all of last year with the knee injury. And he was a pretty steady player for the most part. And then they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner, Tonosaki. Gracie says currently 53 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 Celsius in Saitama, according to her phone. The one thing about the Balluna Dome, it's an open air dome. As I was there last year, and it can be soupy hot in the summer. And there's a fastball that misses way upstairs. The count now goes to 2-2. And what I mean by that is that in that particular area, the day I was there was thunderstorms in the area, very, very humid. No air conditioning in this particular dome. So across the top is where you get the airflow. As the lefty delivers, it's a fastball that misses way outside. And the count now goes to 3-2 on Aguiar. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. There is the open base. The runner at first will keep an eye on Tonosaki to see if they put him in motion as Takeya Nakamura waits his turn on deck. And here comes the pitch from Tamura. It is a fastball that misses outside. That's going to be ball 4. And Jesus Aguiar is going to be aboard with a walk. That's going to advance Tonosaki to second. And Kaneko is still at third. So the bases are loaded full of Lions. It's going to bring Takeya Nakamura to the plate. Well, for the big fella Nakamura, he led the Lions in home runs last year. He hit 258 with 17 homers, but he only drove in 40 runs. RBIs were at a premium last year for the Lions because not enough players could get on base and not enough could be driven in. 2 for 7 in the exhibition season. First pitch is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-0. Gracie says When I saw you doing the Lions game, had to drop in. The NPB team is the Lions. Helps an earlier time. The early mornings are rough. Absolutely. We're probably going to try to do tomorrow night's game as well. As we said, there's a tomorrow night, and then we were looking at maybe doing the middle of the night game with the Major League Baseball, the Padres and the Dodgers, but realistically, I don't know if I'll be able to get up or stay up as that fastball catches the inside corner. It's 1-1. Got early mornings at my end. I've been getting up at 6 because we have some of our programming going on. It is the spring break up here this weekend, next week for the kids north of the border. So we're keeping ourselves busy, making some kids better on the field. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count now goes to 2-1 on Nakamura. Bases full of Lions. One gone here in the first inning. It is Nakamura at the plate. Kaneko, the runner, at third. Tonosaki at second, and Aguiar at first. Waiting on deck is Frenchie Cordero. On top of it, we really haven't had big crowds, although I will say we've had a lot of listeners who've listened after the game has been done. That's been pretty cool to see. Fastball swung on, balls belted into deep left field. Does it have enough legs? Moving back underneath it is the left fielder, Akiyama. He hauls it in, tagging at third and at second, and also tagging at first is Jesus Aguiar, and they throw him out advancing to second. They tried to tag all the runners, and Aguiar gets himself hosed at second base, but they are going to score the run. That's going to go in the books as a sacrifice fly, and it ends up being a double play. So sacrifice 9, and that ball is going to 4 for the third out of the inning as Aguiar is retired trying to tag. He's gone for the third out, but the Lions do get a run as they tie it up. That is Lions baseball these days at its finest. Kaneko scores the run on the sac fly by Nakamura. But into the double play is Aguiar. 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left the board. But now through 1 complete, it is the Seibu Seibu Lions 1 and the Hiroshima Carp 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you all for listening in. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. We were a little bit late coming out of the break there. The other night when we were doing the game, it was a little bit extra long between the Fighters and the Giants. But we are on schedule in this one. It is a 1 and 2 strike count to Shogo Akiyama, who leads it off here against Kaima Taira. It'll be Shiner and Tamura to follow. As the pitch is on the way, it's a split finger pitch missing down, and the count runs even to 2-2. Friend Gracie Lynn says she loves the trumpets, the drums, the chanting from this particular commercial in the last one. It's reminiscent to the atmosphere. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into the netting down the left field line. The count goes to 2-2. She says it's all the reminiscent of a soccer atmosphere, and you expected a soccer game. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting vibe. That is for certain. As that fastball misses up and away to Akiyama, and the count now goes to 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Akiyama hit .274 last year with 4 homers and 38 RBIs. It was the first time in a few years he has seemed to stay healthy. And there he swings through a fastball and misses, and that is going to retire Akiyama on strikes. He's gone for out number 1 here in the second. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Jake Shiner. Well, Shiner's new to me, that is for certain. He never played at the big league level. He did, however, play in the Philadelphia Phillies organization. He was a 4th-round pick back in the 2017 draft as he swings through a fastball and misses, and the count is quickly 0-1. A California native. He is playing his first year in the NPB. As that fastball misses up and in, then the count goes even to 1-1. 28-year-old hitting from the right side here against Tyra, and the pitch is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count goes now to 2-1. Spent time with the Phillies, but then he was flipped to the Mariners in exchange for Jay Bruce and cash considerations back in the 2019 season as he swings through that fastball. The count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Shiner. Tyra, always pitching from the stretch, delivers a fastball that misses upstairs. Count is now 3-2. Shinsuke Tamura waits his turn on deck with 1 gone here for the Carp in their half of the second inning. Tyra delivers a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow right center field. Coming in on it is the right fielder who's there to make the catch as Kaneko will put that one away for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone here for the Carp, and that's going to leave it all up to the right fielder, Shinsuke Tamura. Gracie Lynn says, I started my 4th week in Costa Rica today. Been to a few soccer games here, and the atmosphere is incredible. Gracie Lynn, I was in Costa Rica, and I date myself as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Tamura. I saw a U21 match as the pitch is a fastball that is missed up and away, and the count is 1-1. And it was Deportivo Saprissa against Heredia. And the match was at Heredia, and I saw one of the biggest brawls in the stands as a fastball misses outside, and the count is 2-1. The place was pretty much 75% empty. But there were people that came in, and they went right after the police in the tower in the corner, and with brooms and whatever else. It was absolute insanity. So 2 balls and 1 strike. There's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It breaks the bat of Tamura as that ball is lifted into the netting. The count goes even to 2-2. Be making my way to Nicaragua in late August. We'll be down there for some baseball. So just a little bit north of Costa Rica. Really looking forward to that. Have about 10 games slated for the young kids. Will be taken down with us. Be in Chinandega. We'll be in Quilo. We'll be in Pedro Ramos and Granada. So we'll see how that shapes up and what kind of entertainment we're going to have when we play these groups. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to the right side. Fielded neatly by the first baseman, Aguiar. He underhand flips it to Tyra covering. And that is going to do it. That's going to go down as a ground out. 3-1 on the putout for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Carps. There were no runs in the inning. There were no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 1.5. It is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action once we return after this. And we can keep chatting it up with our friend Gracie Lynn, who is joining us here tonight from beautiful Costa Rica. Gotta like it. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back, everybody. Our friend the living room is in the house tonight, and he says, "Rest in peace to Ernie the Bacon Man Lamont." For those of you who are new to our channel, our friend the living room sports, he is a listener from our area where I grew up. And Ernie the Bacon Man Lamont was a fella who used to run for mayor in the city of Windsor every single year. And just the publicity of being able to do it increased his business. There was a breaking ball delivered to Franchi Cordero, taken for a strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Cordero making his NPB debut this season, as he is formerly a major league player with a number of organizations, including the Red Sox, the Kansas City Royals, as that pitch was a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2. Cordero hitting from the left side here against the left-handed throwing Tamura. You can see why they like Cordero. He is built, as there is a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Cordero. He's gone for the first out of the inning. A quick 3-pitch at bat, and he is gone. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, "I've been to 4 Heredia games." She says 2 on the road, at 1 in neutral site, and one on the road. That's pretty cool. Deportivo Saprissa at the time, I don't know, they were the big club out of San Jose in their purple uniforms. Here comes the pitch. It is a slow breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Gracie says the national park she's visited to are in, and I'm going to butcher some of the names, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. If I give you a piece of advice on where to go, you got to go to Corcovado in the south. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-1. I don't know how much longer you're going to be there, but we stayed at a place in Sirpe called the Veragua River Lodge, and the fellow who owned it was an Italian fella. His name was Ben, and he was an absolute great host. Fastball swung on, lined into left field for a base hit, and Sosuke Genda is aboard with a single here, with 1 gone in the second inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Sena Suge. We didn't give you the defensive alignment tonight for the Carp, so we'll do that now, as that first inning went by with a lot of action in it and couldn't squeeze it in. In the outfield from left to right, it is Shogo Akiyama in left. The center fielder is Shinsuke Noma, and in right field, it is Shinsuke Tamura. Around the horn from first to third, it is Shiner at first. The second baseman is Kikuchi. The shortstop tonight is Kazono, with the third baseman being Reynolds, with the battery of Tamamura and Aizawa, as that breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Suge. Costa Rica, the natural beauty of that country is quite breathtaking, as there's a fastball that misses outside. The count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Suge last year hit 184 with no homers and 13 RBIs. When Tomoya Mori left and took his act to the Oryx Buffaloes, as that fastball is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. The question with the Lions was, how are they going to manage behind the plate? Well, defensively, they seem to be okay. Losing Tomoya Mori was a big loss, both with the bat and defensively. Gracie says she's booked a couple of Airbnbs. I should probably tell you, if you want to send me an email, I could probably email you back and give you a couple links of where you might wish to go. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. She says she's primarily staying just north of the city of Alajuela. Alajuela, I went there as well. High school friend moved there back to her native Costa Rica after graduation and her family's old home, and she's there for her stay. Well, I have a good one for you there, Gracie Lynn. I'll tell you in a second here, as there's a 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, lifted into left field. Coming hard is Akiyama. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to retire Suge for the second out of the inning. 2 gone here in the second. Funny story, I actually was on my way to Alajuela by accident, and I was on a bus, and I get onto the bus. They picked me up because I wanted to go to Heredia. I was originally thought the soccer game that I was going to go and watch was in Alajuela, but it ended up being in Heredia. So I get on the bus, which basically to pay for my ticket, as there's a fastball ticket for a called strike, I pull out the equivalent of basically $100 in Costa Rican cologne. I'm going to give it to the bus driver because I don't know what the cost of the ride was going to be. And he was just laughing because he couldn't believe I wanted to pay this, whatever, $2 ride with a $100 bill. As there's a fastball that misses down and the count is 1-1. But I remember there was a young girl that was sitting there with her mother, and they were just kind of, you could just see the reaction of the people that were sitting 3 or 4 seats behind. She was watching this all take place. It was like, well, I don't have enough money to pay for this because all I've got is hundreds. As they throw over to first base, the runner goes diving back to first. 1-1 it still is here at Nishikawa in the second inning. But certainly good memories of that country for sure. Again to the runner at first, and the pitch is swung on. It's tapped softly back to the pitcher, Tamamura. He fields it and flips it easily to first. That's going to retire Nishikawa on a ground out, 1-3 for the third out of the inning. And that will do it here in the second for the Lions. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. We're now through 2 complete. It is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. Stick around. We'll be right back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. Thank you for listening in. Hang tight. 1-1, Carp and Lions. We got a 1-1 scoreline with the Carp and the Lions. We'll be back at about 30 with all the action. Glad you could stop in, hang out with us tonight. And we'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Kikuchi, Aizawa, and Noma, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat against Taira. And the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Gracie Lynn said, renting a car is much better. I actually had a car for a week when we were there, as the fastball is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-2. Remember, though, I have to say that when you drive, you could have potholes that could swallow your car, so you have to keep your wits about you when you're driving in Costa Rica. So no balls and 2 strikes to Kikuchi. As the right-hander Taira delivers again, it's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. And the count goes to 1-2. Kikuchi getting the start at second base tonight. He hit .258 last year for the Carp, as he swings at a fastball and fouls it straight back, and the count remains at 1-2. He had himself 5 homers and 27 runs batted in. As the right-hander holds set, there is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. Gracie Lynn said the cities that she's been to thus far have been Heredia, Quesada, Alajuela, San Jose. Interesting. That's very, very cool. I'm not going to read all the rest off. And there's a fastball taken on the outside corner for a called third strike, and that is going to retire Kikuchi. He's down on strikes for out number 1. That's going to bring up the catcher, Tsubasa Aizawa. When I was in Costa Rica, I pretty much just stayed down the west coast. We went to all the way down to Sirpe in the southwest, Tamarinda. We were in all kinds of different places. Playa Flamingo in the northwest. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Aizawa. As the right-hander kicks and delivers again, a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2 to Aizawa. I remember there was a guide when we were in Costa Rica. You would see parrots that would be out there and around, and they had problems with people smuggling parrots out. There's a fastball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-2. So this is going back. It'll be 21 years ago that I was in Costa Rica, and I remember we were talking to somebody there, and they said you could get more money for a parrot than you could for cocaine on the black market at that time, as that fastball swung on and fouled away. And they said that at that time, 21 years ago, a parrot could fetch you 10,000 US per bird. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. As he delivers, it's a breaking ball swung on and tapped foul over on the third base side. And the count remains at 1-2 to Aizawa. And so when we would see sometimes those birds flying, say there's $20,000 flying together. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting by Aizawa as he's able to go the other way. That's going to be a one-out single. That'll bring up the top of the order in Shinsuke Noma. Another thing that's interesting as well is when you think of stuff that's gone on in Costa Rica, they also said that the birds themselves could live up till they were 130 years old. I find that staggering. I remember going back and confirming that would be the case, but here's the other part. When the parrots mate, they mate for life. Another piece of interesting information. I mean, I don't know. They all kind of look the same, I thought. Here comes the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down and into Noma, and the count is 1-0. Noma tonight is 0 for 1. He grounded to third his first time up. Gracie Lynn says she's heading up to a place that looks like Guanacaste, the province around Liberia and Nicoya. I did go through Liberia. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball that comes under the hands and catches the inside corner for a called strike on Noma, and the count goes even to 1-1. Nice pitch there by Kaimatira. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Noma to be followed by Matt Reynolds should he reach safely. 1 gone here in the top of the third inning. Tyra holds a set at the belt, now delivers. Fastball swung on, grounded over to third. Fielded on the run by the third baseman, Murayama, and he flips it to second to get the force. Nice play as the slow-footed catcher Aizawa retired on the fielder's choice, 5-4. He's gone for the second out of the inning. They didn't have enough opportunity to turn the double play. Noma is safe at first on the back end, and that's going to bring up the third baseman, Matt Reynolds. Gracie Lynn says she hears it's great surfing on that side, and there's national parks in that northwest. 100%. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Also, a couple of volcanoes up that way that you can make your way to. It's escaping me. I'd have to do a little bit of research, but we stayed in an area where there was a volcano to the north. As the fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2. And got up to the volcano and unfortunately couldn't see anything. We were socked in with cloud that day. If you're going to go and see the volcanoes, you want to go up when it's not cloudy. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-2. So this year, when I get down to Nicaragua, that's the goal, is to get to see a couple of volcanoes where there's no fog or no rain that day. So you can actually see some of that stuff. So here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on, fouled away. The count remains at 1-2 to Reynolds. Gracie Lynn says Caseta is basically surrounded on all sides by volcanoes, hiked to the top of 2 of them. Yeah, great hiking, great surfing, great weather in Costa Rica. And more importantly, great food. I don't know if you've spent time getting to the sodas. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It is a split finger pitch down. They peel over to the first base umpire, and up goes the right hand, and that is going to retire Reynolds. And he is going to be retired for out number 3, and that will do it here in the third inning for the Carp. Well, the strand a runner, there was no runs, there was a hit. There was no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 2.5. Your score is the Lions 1 and the Carp 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Our friend Jason is back in the house tonight, and he's pumping a fist for the Carp. We'll be back in a few.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. We are all locked at ones. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of the third inning. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. 51 pitches through the first three innings for Kaimataira. This game is all locked up at one, as it will be the top of the order coming to bat here for the Lions in the third inning. Kaneko Tonosaki and Motoyama to come to bat here to face the Carp lefty of Shogo Tamamura, who was on for inning number 3. And the first pitch here coming up to Kaneko is a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. In some ways, this left-handed pitcher, he reminds me of former Toronto Blue Jay, Houston Astro, and I believe Philadelphia Philly, J.A. Happ. Just his arm action and the way that he kind of moves, there's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes even to 1-1. I remember Happ had some good runs with the Jays. He also had some good runs with a few other teams as well. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 2-1. Our friend Living Room says he really digs the baseline. Gracie Lynn says, this time of the year, cloud cover really is an issue. The dry season is in full force. August is that region is going to be dreadful. Peak of the rainy season. That's when I'm going to be in Nicaragua. So we're going to find out what that's all about. There's a fastball that is grounded to short. Fielded neatly by Kazono, who throws to first. And that's going to retire Kaneko on a ground out 6-3. So one Lion in the books here in the third inning. And that is going to bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tonosaki. Our friend Jason's fist pumping. He says the Carp are going to be the best team in the Central League this year. That part is interesting. I don't know where the Carp will stand with that. There's a fastball swung on. Last ball is going to be looped into left field. It's going to be down for a base hit. And he is aboard is Tonosaki with a one-out single. I do think that in some ways, I think the Carp are maybe overachieved in some ways last year. They did make the playoffs. I certainly think that the Bay Stars maybe aren't quite the same as they were last year. They'll be pretty solid. They'll be contending for that spot. I would think the Swallows, after that hiatus, after a couple of back-to-back years, I would think the Swallows are going to be decent. Really, only the Chinichi Dragons are the write-off in that Central League. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Motoyama. Motoyama 0 for 1 tonight. He popped out to second his first time up. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into shallow right field. Drifting over and underneath it is the right fielder, Tamura. He makes the catch, and that's going to retire Motoyama for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone here, and that's going to leave it up to the first baseman, Jesus Aguiar. Gracie Lynn says that part of the country that she's in, August, September, bring 8 to 12 feet of rain per month. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to be, usually they say the middle of the day between 11 and 2 is when you're going to get quite a bit of rain when you're in Nicaragua. So we're interested to see how that's all going to work out. Our friend Jason says the Buffaloes are going to win the Japan series, in his opinion. I know Jason is a big supporter of the Buffaloes. Here comes the first pitch to Aguiar. It's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Aguiar walked in his first trip to the plate this evening. It is his second plate appearance of the night. And the pitch on the way, it's a looping breaking ball that Aguiar is way out in front of, and he hooks it foul. So the count now is 0-2. Jason says only good Japanese team other than the Carp. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So no balls and 2 strikes as Aguiar stands in. The lefty works to the set position. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball. Waved at and missed. Aguiar way out in front. He goes down on strikes, and that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 3rd inning. So we got 1/3 of the ball game in the book. 45 minutes in. Not so bad. Quick pace. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 3 complete. As we move to the 4th, your score is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to come to bat here for the Carp in their half of the 4th inning. It'll be Kazono, Matsuyama, and Akiyama. So it'll be 3, 4, and 5 to come to bat. Friend Gracie Len says she's going to the Champions League quarterfinal match, the Mexican club Pachuca, the first week of April. First pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Living Room says no Hollis this year. I was waiting for you to comment on that because we weren't going to run it tonight, but now that you're requesting Living Room, as that breaking ball misses outside, the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll save that in the back part for you. Fastball misses outside. It's now 2-1 for Kazono. Living Room, a big fan of Matt Hollis, a supporter of our channel. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now goes even at 2-2. Actually, that was a split finger pitch. The movement on that looked like it was a breaking ball. So 2-2, we get the replay out of the hand of the pitcher. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kazono. We'll have to up our A game a little bit of what we're going to provide, and that's what our goal is for some of the in-between stuff in between innings. There's a fastball swung on, grounded softly to short, fielded neatly by Genda, who throws to first. Kazono in the books on a ground out 6-3. He's gone for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the DH, Ryuhei Matsuyama. Just reading what Jason says. Looks like he's not sure what that exactly is. Pitcher, catcher, all the rest of that stuff. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lofted softly into left center field, and it's going to get over the head of Genda, and it's going to bleed down for a base hit. And Matsuyama is going to be aboard with a 1-out single. The big fella there, it looked like he got jammed. Was able to fight it off. He gets to first base, and he's shaking his hand. But he's got himself a single. It's going to look like a line drive in the box score. So Matsuyama aboard with a 1-out single, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Shogo Akiyama. Our friend Jason says, if you check out Powerful Pro Yakyu, you'll know. There you go. There's a first pitch changeup that is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Akiyama. He thinks one of the best games in Japan. That was the one thing I didn't do when I was in Japan last year. In my opinion, was it's no longer Sega. They've actually changed the name. I forget what they call it now in Japan, as there's a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count is now 0-2. Went and played some video games a couple of years ago. I think it would be kind of cool to be able to go and experience some of that stuff. It was kind of neat. Some of the games that are played or in that video game in that old Sega building was unbelievable. He said loads of people play in Japan. It's true. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. I was talking to some friends tonight on the channel. I was talking to our friend Chris and Jimmy Redbeard, who sometimes pops in. He popped in the other night. And they were asking me about just time and stuff. And I said, well, I just don't have time to do certain things. You got to pick and choose sometimes what you want to do. Calling the games for me is interesting. Not being able to do some other stuff, unfortunately, kind of gets in the way as that breaking ball misses down. Counts 2-2. So playing video games is something that I don't really do much of, but I like to go and play it. And I have to say, the way that the games have evolved over the last number of years and the complexity of it is probably beyond my scope. I think of MLB The Show and just what the kids can play. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, moving over toward the foul line, and Cordero overruns it, and the ball gets down for a base hit. And that is going to advance the runners, and he comes back to be able to field it. Oh, boy, Franchi Cordero played that ball into a double. Oh, boy, that was ugly. It looked like it was going to be, it looks like it was a double. Let's just hold on that for a second. Cordero was racing toward the left field line. He ended up overrunning the ball. You can't really blame the wind per se, although it is the open air stadium. And he whiffed on it by a good foot. Ball got down, ended up bounding into the left field corner. He had to chase it down. In some ways, obviously, he's got a new stadium and a new backdrop that he's playing with here. And actually, he's going to hold it as single. So it is going to be runners at first and second. So Matsuyama, fortunately, clogging up the base paths. So you got runners at first and second. They're not going to rule that as an error. He never touched the ball. He missed it completely. And that's going to bring Jake Shiner to the plate, who's already taken a strike. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Shiner. The runner at second is Matsuyama. The runner at first, Akiyama. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball that is swung on and pop foul. Actually, the scorer is going to rule that as an error. I don't know. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Never touched the ball. It was a good solid 1 foot or so away from him. Just happened to overrun it. We'll double check on that one there, but it looks like that is how the scorer is going to rule that one there. There is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-2. Just checking our scoring over as the Carp will have 3 hits, but they're going to rule that as E7 in the books, taking a hit away from Shogo Akiyama. Fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 2-2. Jason says, I don't know if it's an error, to be honest. I wouldn't have called it an error either. He never touched the ball. I mean, he wasn't close to touching the ball. He overran it so badly. It was, as I say, at least a foot behind him by the time the ball came down. If it would have went off his glove, I probably would have ruled that an error easily, but that is how the scorer has ruled it. There's a fastball taken at the knees for a called 3rd strike, and Shiner goes down looking. He's going to be in the books for out number 2. So Shiner is retired, and that is going to leave it all up to the right fielder, Shinsuke Tamura. But Kaimatara trying to get himself out of this mess. Definitely not an error in my books, that is for certain. Just a bad play and poor decision-making and bad judgment to be able to judge the ball. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is quickly 0-1. Gracie says, I may have already said something, but I love the new look of the screen, the dark look. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2. Well, maybe that's the case. We've sometimes used, this is what we used to use as the old backdrop. Sometimes during the season, I'll put the logos of the players up. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-2. But we haven't really done any of the backdrop stuff this year, so maybe we'll just put them in black. We've got the black look this year for our thumbnails, so maybe we might just stay with that each and every time. And put the players up in the rest and maybe keep the black backdrop. There's a fastball that's down, and the count goes to 2-2 on Tamura. Our friend Jason says he was playing wiffle ball today. Our friend, the living room, plays blast ball. We know that for sure. Wiffle ball, blast ball, always good stuff. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Pitch on the way, breaking ball swung on, grounded softly over to short. Genda fields it, throws off his back leg, and he's going to retire Tamura by a half a step. It goes in the books as a ground out, 6-3. That's going to be the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it here for the Carp. Well, there was no runs in the inning. There was a hit and an error, according to the scorekeeper anyway. 2 runners left aboard. Tyra gets himself out of a problem. We're going to go to the bottom of the 4th inning, all locked up at ones. Carp Lions 1-1 as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Hang around, everybody. This game's got a good clip to it. We're almost done 4 innings. It's not even an hour. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us. We'd give you some Matt Hollis, but instead, by a request from our friend the living room, some Japanese cheerleaders. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Takeya Nakamura, Franchi Cordero, and Sosuke Genda to come to bat here in the 4th inning. I think that's one of the things that the Lions are probably going to need to keep the Maylocks handy for, is that defense by Franchi Cordero in that last half inning. It is going to be an adventure, so he better hit his way out of some trouble, because that was one ugly-looking half inning for the Lions left fielder. First pitch delivered to Nakamura as a breaking ball swung through and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Nakamura had a sacrifice fly and drove in a run in the 1st inning, but he was erased, or he actually hit himself into a double play. One of the stranger double plays that you would see. It was 7-4 on the putout as he'd flown out to Akiyama, and Jesus Aguiar was gunned down trying to advance to second base. There's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Nakamura, as the lefty delivers a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-2. Nakamura, 17 homers last year. Be curious to see how the big fella does this year. He's getting on the wrong side of 40. Usually the power starts to evaporate at this point. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-2. For those of you who are not on that wrong side of 40, one of the things that certainly with baseball players, and you get into your 30s, it's hard to play back-to-back days. Just the stiffness, trying to be able to stay at that high level. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And so during the steroid era, one of the things that people talked about is just how the players, when they were playing, could bounce back the next day. They would take the steroids, and what would happen is you come back fresh as a daisy. I remember years ago refereeing football and doing a Friday night game on a turf field and having to come back for a day game the next day, and your back is stiff and everything is just not feeling so good. Fastball swung on, grounded to third, fielded neatly by the third baseman Reynolds, who fires to first, and that is going to retire Nakamura on a ground out, 5-3. Nakamura gone for out number 1. Baseball players, it's similar. You go out, you play a night game, and then the next day you come out and you play your day game, and That's why you see a lot of the bench being used. There's players that are not bouncing back because they're just tired from the night before, can't recover. But the steroids used to help the players recover. Here comes the pitch. Slow breaking ball to Cordero that drops in for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. That was the 50th pitch of the ball game delivered by Tamamura, as the lefty kicks and delivers. And the pitch is another breaking ball waved out and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, it's probably unlikely that we're going to be back on the airwaves again tomorrow. These same 2 teams, as there's a breaking ball waved out and missed, and Cordero goes in the books. That's the second time tonight he's gone down on strikes. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the shortstop Sosuke Genda. Well, for Genda, he's 1 for 1 today. He singled his first time to the plate, as he was able to reach a board, but he was stranded at first back in the second inning. And here comes the first offering pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball that's down. The home plate umpire goes up with the right hand and says that Genda went around. Well, I don't know. That's mid-season form by the plate umpire, but certainly he's doing his part to keep the game moving. So no balls and 1 strike, and it really didn't complain too much. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and now the count is 0-2. So it's been a steady diet of breaking balls in this inning delivered by Tamamura. As the lefty kicks and fires, it's a fastball that just misses down and away. Oh, that was a tough pitch. It was a good pitch, too. It was a good miss. Friend Gracie Lynn said, isn't there a baseball player who was in his 50s and still playing pro ball somewhere? Here's the 1-2. There's a fastball that just misses outside. She says, I wish I could remember his name, but I read an article a couple months ago. Well, I got a buddy of mine who is in Japan, and he's playing in one of the independent leagues, and he's just shy of 50. He's 48. Here comes the 2-2. Pitch on the way, a fastball that misses down. It's now 3-2. He decided last year, I was with him, we were playing catch by Osaka Bay, and he decided that he thought, I'm going to take a run. I'm going to go try out for an independent team in Japan. And he's still got his arm. He still throws pretty good and got command of his pitches and everything else. And there's a breaking ball. It's taken for a called third strike. Genda stood there like the house by the side of the road, watched it go by for out number 3. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. We are now through 4 complete. We'll come back and tell you about my buddy Hiroshi Shimauchi when I return in a few. Hang tight, everybody. We appreciate you guys for being here with us. We're glad you could listen in tonight for all the action. Carp and Lions tied at 1.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat here for the Carp in the 5th inning, as it will be Kikuchi, Aizawa, and Noma scheduled to come to hit. My buddy Eric's up here, and we're doing some stuff, and we're going to probably shoot a couple more of those commercials. Hopefully, we can come up with some good ideas. I might have to go and check out the car salesman from Amherstburg, Ontario, because he's always got some good stuff on his, maybe to get an idea of what we want to take a shot at. There's a first pitch fastball delivered for a called strike. And it is no balls and 1 strike to Kikuchi as he delivers. Tyra does again, and it's a fastball swung through and missed. Count now goes to 0-2. Kikuchi struck out looking his first time up tonight, waiting on the 0-2 offering. Fastball swung on, chopped back to the pitcher. Tyra fields it. He throws to first. That will retire Kikuchi on a ground out, 1-3 for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the catcher, Tsubasa Aizawa. Our friend of the living room says, Leo Rasico, that's exactly who it is. Leo's got some interesting things, and so I'm not going to copy it, but what we would want to do is look at some of the themes that he's offering and maybe do something similar to that. Haven't quite decided yet. That would be kind of cool to be able to do it. 1 gone here, and Aizawa steps to the plate. He singled his first time up. He was raced on a fielder's choice. First pitch fastball just misses down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Aizawa. Getting the start behind the plate tonight in this one is the right-handed hitting catcher. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-0. He's got his average up to 300 in the spring training exhibition season. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball misses up and in, and the count now goes to 3-0. Our friend living room says, rent some ice and get some goalie gear and get Eric to shoot some pucks at me. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep center field. Drifting back, but in front of the warning track is the center fielder. Plenty of room for Nishikawa. He hauls it in. That's going to retire Aizawa. Aizawa getting the green light to swing 3-0. And he flies out to straightaway center field, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Noma. I don't think any hockey is going to be taking place for either of us this year. Although, considering going to see the Canucks play, they're worth watching. The Montreal Canadiens are going to be in town this week. Fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to Noma. Noma is 0 for 2. He's bounced into a fielder's choice, and he's grounded out tonight as there's a fastball that gets by the catcher, and it's going to run to 1-1 on Noma. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So I think it'd be kind of interesting to see what we can kind of come up with in terms of a infomercial on the in-between. As there is a breaking ball that's taken for a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Tyra again delivers. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. It's in the dirt. Blocked by Suge. Gets up. He throws to first. It's going to go in the books as a strikeout, 2-3 for the third out of the inning. And boy, this game continues to clip along. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board here in the top of the 5th. We're halfway through the ball game. As we move to the bottom of the 5th inning, your score is the Lions 1 and the Carp 1. We'll be back here in just a couple moments with the bottom of the 5th inning. Glad you guys could hang out here with us tonight for some NPB baseball. We'll be back in just a few when we return after this. And again, a little bit of the crowd cheer in the background to give you that excitement. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the batting order. That's Suge, Nishikawa, and Kaneko to come to bat here to face the lefty Tamamura, as he will be coming back out for his 5th inning of work. Our friend Gracie Lynn says she's going to hang in a little longer, but she's got the battery warning on the phone. It sounds like she's listening to. So that is all good. We're glad you could pop in here with us, and hopefully maybe you pop in tomorrow night. We'll be back on for another one as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Suge. 0-1 pitch on the way. It is a fastball swung on and is grounded foul down the third base line, and the count now goes to 0-2. Likelihood of us doing the Dodger Padre games are very low. We'll probably do the Carp and the Lions again tomorrow night. And then we'll look to the night after that, I think, is an off day in the NPB, and then look to do the weekend stuff of exhibition games. Not sure if we'll do all three, but possibly 2 of the 3 nights. See when the games are scheduled. Fastball swung on, popped up behind home plate. Underneath it is Aizawa. He's got plenty of room. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Suge for the first out of the innings. So he's in the books, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Manaya Nishikawa. One of the players that will be deeply missed by the Carp is their Nishikawa, the outfielder. The left fielder had signed a free agent contract with the Oryx Buffaloes, and he has made his way to there. The veteran left fielder. As there's a slow breaking ball taken for a call and strike by Manaya Nishikawa. The count is quickly 0-1. Breaking ball down, and the count now is 1 ball and 1 strike. Oryx Buffaloes, of course, made some moves in the offseason, and they lost. The big move that they lost was losing Yamamoto to Major League Baseball. There's a breaking ball that's down, but the home plate umpire said that Manaya Nishikawa went around, and it's now 0-2. So Ryoma Nishikawa is going to be patrolling the outfield. That's a domestic player that really solidifies the outfield for the Buffaloes, in my opinion. 1-2 pitch, fastball, waved at and missed, and Nishikawa, the Lions variety, goes down on strikes. He's in the books for the second out of the inning, and that will bring up the top of the order in Yuji Kaneko. But when I think of the lineup for the Buffaloes, the outfielders that they can roll out Kodai Sano, they got Kaida Nakagawa, Tokumasa Chano will get a full season. They also signed Cody Thomas. I mean, they still have Yataro Sugimoto, but I can't see Sugimoto doing much outfield work now at this point in his career with some of those younger legs out there. Here's the first offering to the right-handed batter, Kaneko, and it's a breaking ball that misses inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. Curious to see how long these starting pitchers hang in there for. There's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is now 2-0. Gracie Lynn says, going back to earlier, driving around, I've not really encountered many horrifying potholes. Some of the back roads are a bit rough. Yeah, I remember when I was there, and I mean, things change. It's 20 years ago. I remember when we were driving, and I literally, and I kid you not, there's a breaking ball that's taken for a strike. There was a pothole on a bridge, and you could look down, see the girders, and right down to the water. Like, it was unbelievable. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded into the 6 hole, fielded on the backhand by Kazono, but he's not going to be able to make the play. It's going to be an infield single for the speedy Kaneko. He's got a single. He's aboard, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tonosaki. I just remember seeing the potholes, and I was just like, you would never, ever see that in North America. Not even a chance, or at least in our part of North America. Be a lawsuit ready to happen, but not in Costa Rica at that time. Didn't seem to. It probably was there for a few days. Gracie Lynn says, very well paved and maintained. And GPS is a useless tool, though. Yeah, pretty much. There's a fastball delivered to Tonosaki that misses upstairs for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. Off to second goes the runner, Kaneko, and he's going to slide in safely with a stolen base. He's going to get himself into scoring position. Tonosaki swung through the pitch. It's 0-2 on him, but now he's in scoring position here. Tonosaki is 2 for 2 tonight. He's got a pair of singles. So with 2 gone here, he is in a situation or in a spot where he could drive in a run. Here's the 1-1. Fastball missing upstairs. Count is 2-1. I remember in Costa Rica years ago that when you were there, the addresses were meaningless. You know, in other words, if you wanted to go somewhere, it would be like, okay, when you get to the Purple House, go 6 houses down, and that's where you need to be. There's a ball that swung on it, is lined on one hop to the shortstop, and unable to come up with it cleanly is the shortstop, Kazono. I would think it would be a hit, but based on how the official score ruled the Franchi Cordero era, let's stay tuned and see what happens here. Regardless, it's going to put runners at the corners as Tonosaki is aboard at first. Nice job, though, by the shortstop, Kazono, even though he couldn't come up with the play to keep that ball in front of him. Had to move to his right, and it was a short hop. He had to drop to his knees to keep it in front. Our friend Gracie Lynn says she's seen bridges with no railings, and those are a special kind of fun. Never seen anything like that. Infrastructure is definitely, well, if you get a chance to go over a bungee kind of corded bridge, that would be an interesting piece as well. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count as 0-1. It's literally was like a piece of rubber that you would go, and you'd have to go really slowly across this makeshift bridge. Unbelievable. I wish I would have had pictures of the phone to be able to share with you on that one. Here's the 0-1. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Matsuyama. It's been a tough night at the office for, Motoyama. Motoyama is 0 for 2. He's popped to second and flown out to right field in his 2 trips. Here comes the 0-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, lifted into left field. Moving back on it is Akiyama. He's there, and he makes the catch. And that is going to do it. Looks like they're going to give Tonosaki a single on that one. Well, maybe not. We haven't officially got that update yet, but that is going to do it. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change, and as we like to call it, our Japanese halftime is about to kick in here. We're going to take ourselves a mini break. They did rule it an error on the shortstop. Tough night for the scorer. He's really harsh here. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was an error according to the score, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're now through 5 complete. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We're going to put the music on loop. Your score is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. We're moving to the top of the 6th inning. I'm going to go refresh my beverage, and we'll be back in just a few. We'll put the music on loop, and we'll be back in a bit.
All I want
Welcome back, everybody. There is going to be a pitching change for the Seibu Seibu Lions as a left-hander is coming into the ball game. This is going to be Jeffrey Yan. This is going to be our first look at the left-hander. The Dominican is born in 1996. He'll be 28 years old this year. He was originally signed by the Angels as an international free agent, and he played with the Dominican Summer League Angels. In 2016, he underwent Tommy John surgery and missed the entire year. 2021, after spending 3 seasons out of affiliate ball, he had inked a deal with the Miami Marlins. He was discovered while pitching for a men's league team in Arizona. He made it up to Double-A with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, appearing in games out of the bullpen, had some pretty decent numbers. He did get time in the Triple-A level. He spent time with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. He was even a Southern League All-Star, but now he's taken his act over to the Lions. He signed a $500,000 deal with the Lions for 1 year back in December. So Jeffrey Yan will be our first look at this slender left-hander for the Lions. And let's just see if he can keep himself moving along. So the end of the night for Kaimatira. We do have a new right fielder as well for the Lions. It looks like it might have been Ito, but I didn't quite get the number on it, or it could be Shinya Hasegawa. Looks like it could be Shinya Hasegawa over there. We'll have to take a look and see, but I think that could be who that is. So here we go. We are ready to go. It is Yan facing Matt Reynolds, Kaito Kazono, and Matsuyama. And the first pitch is a fastball. Take it for a called strike. That looked like it was not a midseason strike. So Jeffrey Yan on in relief. So an interesting road in his professional career. Nice to see that when you can get a player that can battle back. He does sport the number 00, though, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2 on Reynolds. Reynolds tonight 0 for 2. He has flown to center and struck out in his 2 trips. Our friend Gracie Lynn says there's been a lot of infrastructure and investment in Costa Rica. Poverty rate has been cut in half since 2010. Breaking ball swung on and grounded foul past the third base coach's box. That's very interesting to hear about or to know. But I thought that's pretty interesting to hear that. I remember being in Costa Rica and you could be driving down the side of the road and they'd be selling watermelons, and watermelons were like, I don't know, 25 cents a watermelon, for these big watermelons at the time. And I remember getting one, cutting open, had no taste to it. So I just kept saying, okay, bring me another one, until I finally got one that I liked. They were juicy, but they had no taste. And then finally we hit on one, and I'm like, I just bought 4 watermelons for $1. Finally got one that I liked. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Yan kicks and delivers. Fastball that comes inside at 94 miles an hour, backs Reynolds off the plate, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gracie Lynn asks, what's the Dominican Summer League like? I know it's below low A on the pyramid, but is that poor quality? Yeah, it's basically rookie ball in a lot of ways. A lot of younger players. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. There was a fellow from this area who had managed the Pirates Dominican Summer League team for a couple of years. I don't know if he's still down there or not. Breaking ball, waved at and missed, and Yan gets his first strike out of this one as he puts away Matt Reynolds on a breaking ball. Reynolds in the book for the first out of the inning. Second time tonight he's gone down on strikes. So 1 up and 1 away here in the top of the 6th. That brings up the shortstop, Kaito Kazono. So Kazono has accounted for the only run for the Carp tonight. He had a solo shot off a Kaimatira in the first inning. And the first pitch from Yan is a fastball at 95 that just misses outside for ball 1. Jason says he'd popped out and popped back in. Glad you're here, though. Gracie Lynn says the poverty rate in Costa Rica is only 4.8% higher than the U.S. as last year. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. Unfortunately, I think the U.S. is trending in the wrong direction, and Costa Rica may be trending in the right direction. Curious to see how that is. Of course, we could say the same thing north of the border. Here's the 1-1. Slow breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-2. This year here, going to knock off a couple of more stadiums, going to hit Oakland and San Francisco in the month of December. December, in the month of June. Be in Detroit as well. There's a ground ball back to the pitcher. It's off Yan. It deflects over to the second baseman, Tonosaki. What a great play. I think they're going to want to review this one. The first base coach is already asking for the review, and the manager is going upstairs as well. But that would have been a 1-4-3 on the putout. Let's see what Yan is here. He had to do this little hop, skip, and a jump to get out of the way. We'll see how they're going to score this. It's either going to be a hit. Oh, the Aguiar and Tonosaki are all kind of laughing the way that Yan had went to field the ball. They're having a good laugh out there on the mound as this review's going on. We'll see the replay of it again. It was a chopper back to the mound, and it didn't even come. Yan had got up. It looked like he was trying to make a soccer-style play to keep the ball in front when he could have probably just used his glove. So we'll see what they're going to rule on this one here. If the scorer has anything to do with it, we're going to make our call here. I might do a meter here to see this year how we are. Oh, I think he's safe by a country mile. I think first base umpire, oh boy, it's time to go in and get those prescription lenses checked. I mean, he was like past the bag by the time they caught it. I'd have to see what that looks like, but I don't know why they're taking so long. This is going to be a quick one, I would think. Gracie Lynn says, no matter what direction the U.S. is trending in, oh, that's still really good. Yeah, certainly fortunate to live in this part of the world sometimes when you see what's going on in other places. Tonosaki, great play to come and get the ball, though. I'm just surprised that here comes the umpire, and they're going to rule. They're going to rule he's out. Oh, boy. I guess they're in a bit of a hurry here tonight. That's going to go in the books as a ground out, 1-4-3. Looks like I missed that one, so 2 gone here. So 2 out here in the 6th inning, and that's going to leave it up to the designated hitter, Ryuhei Matsuyama. Jason says he loves living in the U.S. Yeah, we're at a great spot in the world. You know, it depends on where you're at, too. I mean, I hate to say it. There's some areas of both the United States, Canada, Mexico, wherever you live, there are some really great places to be. And unfortunately for some, there's also some tough places as well. It's certainly better to be living where we're at than having bullets or drones flying over our head dropping bombs. That's for sure. There's a breaking ball. It's taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to Matsuyama. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He's singled and he's grounded out in his 2 trips to the plate. And it looks like we have a pinch hitter for him, and we'll have to get that here in just a second as that's waved on and missed. So it looks like Matsuyama's night is done. Sometimes we're not in mid-season form, but also too, nor is the NPB with the information. We'll see if we have an update there. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and that's going to run the count to 1-2. Looks like it's Ken Nakamura who is pinch hitting here. So Kento Nakamura on for Matsuyama. And a pitch from Yan on the way. Breaking ball swung on and missed. And boy, oh boy, Jeffrey Yan jumps in the air about 25 inches, does a fist pump, and then he runs off the field. I'm not sure if he's going to endear himself to the opposing hitters, but boy, he's got a little bit of energy. People are laughing over that as the crowd is giving him the high five. Lots of enthusiasm from that left-hander, but that is going to retire Nakamura here on strikes to end the inning. So there was no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. Your score is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Appreciate you guys for being here. We are glad you guys could pop in here with us tonight. We'll be right back in just a few. We got a 1-1 score as we are moving to the last half of inning number 6. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for bouncing in here with us tonight. Hang tight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Jeffrey Yan, they're showing the highlight of him jumping up in the air again and going down and patting the mound and everything else. Pretty excited to be able to retire the batter that he faced. Kind of reminds me of back in the day when Mark the Bird Fidrich had some very entertaining antics when he was on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. When he used to talk to the ball, he would pat the mound, he would fill in the dirt. He had all kinds of interesting stuff going on. I think that might be the end of Yan tonight. So the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses, and the count is quickly 1-0. It looks like we have a new pitcher on our hand here. It looks like it's Hori, another lefty. And that is a fastball that misses outside to Jesus Aguiar, and the count's 2-0. So it's Aguiar, Nakamura, and Cordero here scheduled to come to bat for the Lions in their half of the 6th inning. And with the reliever Hori on the hill here. Fastball swung on, grounded softly over to short, fielded neatly by Kazono, throws to first, and they retire Aguiar on a ground out 6-3. He's in the books for out number 1, and that is going to bring up Takeya Nakamura, or scheduled to bring Takeya Nakamura to the plate. Looks like we've got a lot of changes for the Carp, and we'll have to get that as it comes along. And I say that because we talked about this last year. The jerseys they went to last year, they have red numbers on the red jersey with a black outline. Very difficult in which to see the pitchers' numbers. Very difficult to see all the players' numbers, but certainly even the pitcher who's right in front of us most of the time. And the first pitch from Hori is a fastball that misses inside for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So a very interesting piece. This is Atsuya Hori. I would think the pitching parade for both of these teams has begun now, and we should see a pitcher every single inning. There's a fastball that misses inside. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say that Nakamura didn't go, and the count's now 2-0. Nakamura officially 0 for 1 tonight. He has a sacrifice fly and has driven in the only run for the Lions. It's going to be a problem again for the Lions, I think, this year. Where are they going to get the hits from? There's a fastball swung on, and it is lifted foul over on the first base side. Our friend Gracie Lynn said that her battery was running low, and it might be the signal that she's gone here eventually. I have to tell you this, that the way this game is going, with the pace of it, we might be gone before she is. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Counts now 2-1 to Nakamura. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Gracie Lynn says, how do I feel about the Tigers are going to do this year? Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes now to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Nakamura. I think the Tigers are going to pitch the heck out of it this year, but they still can't hit. They could finish as high as 2nd place in the Central because the Central is pretty weak, or they could finish as low as 4th. Fastball swung on it is lifted foul over on the third base side, giving chase as the third baseman for the Carp who makes the catch. It's no longer Reynolds, as that is going to retire Nakamura. He's gone for the 2nd out of the inning. So a 2 gone at this point. 2 in the books. Trying to get you the update of the defensive changes. It looks like they also have a new shortstop. Do the Carp. It looks like the shortstop is now Fudamata. And he will come into the 2-hole to hit where Reynolds was. So here comes the first pitch to Franchi Cordero. It's a fastball swung and it breaks the bat, grounded over to third, fielded neatly. They fire to first, and that's going to retire Cordero on a ground out 5-3. He's out for the 3rd out of the inning. And the Lions go quietly in their half of the 6th. We're 2/3 of the way of the game in the books here. And it is a 1-1 scoreline. Stick around, everybody. There is going to be a pitching change, and we're going to be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for sticking around with us. Your score is the Carp won and the Lions won. We'll be back in just a few minutes after this or that. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change, and it is going to be a little different look here as the right-hander Tatsushi Masuda is coming in, usually in a closing role, but certainly here in the seventh inning, not in that particular spot. So he is going to be taking over for Jeffrey Yan. So Tatsushi Masuda on in relief here for the Seibu Lions, pitcher number 3 used here tonight. As we said before, the Carp have made some changes, and we're going to try to clip away on those as we possibly can. It's going to look like a coloring book at this point because some of the regulars are now leaving the ball game. And as we mentioned before, Sochi, and if I mess that up, Fudamata is in the spot where once was occupied by Matt Reynolds. So we'll get that as a change as we move along. And he has gone into play shortstop. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to Shogo Akiyama. Akiyama tonight is officially 0 for 2. He's reached on an error and he has struck out. He's 6 for 27 in the exhibition season. He is not in midseason form. He's hitting .222 as the right-hander delivers a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Racing back on it is Cordero, and he's going to have to play it off the wall. This time he played that one well. He fields it on one hop, and it's going to be a stand-up leadoff double here for Akiyama to start the 7th inning. So he is aboard with a double, and that's supposed to bring up the first baseman, Jake Shiner. The other change that was made as they took Reynolds out of the ball game, Kozono has moved over to third base. He started the game as the shortstop. So Kozono goes to third. Fudamata is now the shortstop. And Shiner coming to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out looking and flown to right in his 2 trips. Here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Gracie Lynn figures that the American League Central is wide open. I think both the Central divisions in both the American and National League are as wide open as you can get. Maybe the Cubs right now have the edge in the Central. Certainly the Brew Crew lost a ton. Their pitching staff ravaged, their manager gone. Breaking ball that drops in on Shiner for a strike, and the count is 1-1. Pat Murphy had a pretty good college career as a manager, and he takes over the helm at the Brewers. So I'll be interested to see how Murphy makes out at the big league level. So we'll see what happens as that all gets going here for real in about a week. Jason said we were talking about the MLB. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-2. Now, Gracie Lynn knows that I'm a Tiger fan. Grew up in the area there and always was watching Detroit. And of course, the Tigers are, I think, trending in the right direction, certainly on the mound. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander Masuda delivers. It's a breaking ball missing down and away, and the count is 2-2. Jason says he's an M's fan. Well, I live in the area. I get to the M's quite a bit. I don't know if I like what Jerry DiPoto has done with the team this offseason, though. I think they were a little bit stronger group in 2023, but their pitching is probably arguably the best pitching staff or starting staff in all of Major League Baseball. The depth is unbelievable. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 3-2 to Shiner. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Shiner. Runner at second, Akiyama. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, top half of the 7th inning. Game is at the Balluna Dome in Saitama. More Carp fans than Lions fans, I think, in the stands. Lots of red all the way around. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And the pitch is on the way. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats on the first base side of home plate, and the count remains at 3-2. Gracie says Cubs are going to be great. Reds are going to be more improved than last year. Pirates are going to finish over 500, and the Cards can't be as bad as they were. She's got the Brewers for the basement. That's probably a pretty fair assessment of the National League. I mean, I'm curious to see what the Reds are going to do. I can't believe that Noelvi Marte is out for 80 games. Fastball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded on the backhand by Genda, throws to first, and it's going to be in time. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic play by Sosuke Genda. He's going to get Shiner. He had to go deep into the 6 hole. And that's going to go down as a ground out, 6-3. Shiner gone for the first out of the inning. But Genda, what a great play by him. And a good stretch over there at first base. Not sure who the new first baseman is. It's a training player, and he's wearing the number of 133. Gracie asked what happened. Well, he tested positive for PEDs. Noelvi Marte is gone for 80, half the year. And here comes the first pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on, grounded softly to second. Tonosaki ranges to his right. He fields it over to first. And that is going to retire Tamura on a ground out, 4-3. It does advance Akiyama to third now with 2 out. So 2 gone here in the inning, and that's going to leave it all up to the second baseman, Ryosuke Kikuchi. Yeah, certainly not a good start to the career. Our friend Titus in the house here tonight, listening in the background from Japan. Always great to have you in here as well. So here comes the offering from Masuda. It's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. A pitch poured in at 90 miles an hour. Gracie Lynn says that she thinks the Dodgers will be worse than recent years. It's going to be tough. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is golfed foul down the left field line into the seats. Count goes to 0-2 now on Kikuchi. Yeah, I think the Dodgers, I'm not so convinced about that. The Dodgers are a pretty good ball club, but with that being said, I think what's going to happen with the Dodgers, Mookie Betts at shortstop. Boy, I know Mookie's a great athlete, and I like his game, but I'm curious to see how he's going to be able to handle the rigors of the day in and day out of that position. Gavin Lux having the yips makes it difficult for him to be able to play every day. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Kikuchi. Fastball misses up and away, and the count now goes to 1-2. Jason says, I want Yamamoto to do good, but otherwise I want them to suck. I think there's a lot of people that are in that boat. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the way. Chops softly back to the mound. Masuda fields it, flips to first. And that is going to do it. It's going to go down as a ground out, 1-3. Kikuchi out for out number 3. That's going to do it here in the 7th inning. A leadoff double by Akiyama. but he is not able to come in to score. No runs in the inning, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left. We're going to the bottom half of the 7th. Your score is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back for the bottom half of this inning when we return just after this. I'm pretty confident we're going to see ourselves yet another pitching change as we have the parade continuing here. We'll be right back in just a few. We got a 1-1 game as we are moving to the bottom half of the 7th. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change for the Carp. It'll be a right-hander, and it is going to be Takuya Yazaki coming into the ball game. He is going to be taking over for Hori. So Takuya Yazaki on in relief here in the bottom half of inning number 7. We are locked at ones. And scheduled to come to bat for the Lions are the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. It'll be Genda, Suge, and Nishikawa. Do you face the right-hander here in inning number 7? Again, tonight, 1 for 2. He struck out looking his last time up. And he also singled back in the second. He takes a fastball up at the eyeballs for ball 1. Another defensive change for the Carp. They have a new first baseman and a new catcher, so it looks like Aizawa's night is done. There's a breaking ball, waved that and missed, and the count is 1-1. As we said, with the changes going on and everything moving quickly here, we will probably take our time in doing some of these catch-ups. It looks like it's Sakakura behind the plate now, as that breaking ball drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. So Sakakura in replacement of Aizawa. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike, the second time in back-to-back at-bats. Genda's gone down looking here. He's out for out number 1. 1 in the books, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Senasuge. So Sakakura, the new catcher, as we said. You can tell it's a little bit different because definitely they're doing interviews in between innings as Kaima Taira has got the microphone in his face. There's a breaking ball. You know you're in spring training when that's happening. First pitch breaking ball misses upstairs. Count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the right field line. Ranging over and giving chase by the foul line with room to make the catches, Tamura, and that is going to retire Suge, as he is going to be gone for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Manaya Nishikawa. And for Nishikawa, he is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out his 2 trips to the plate. Batting from the left side here against the right-handed throwing Yazaki. As he checks the sign, he's ready to go here. Pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. Gracie Lynn says, so which will happen first? Just over 30 years. Turn 50, or the Rockies or A's become serious organizations and make an attempt to win. So 1 strike it is to Nishikawa. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-1. Well, Gracie Lynn, I'm not sure what's going to happen first or where those organizations be around. Certainly the A's might be in LA or Las Vegas. And I hear that the drawings, I was talking to Eric this week, and he says the stadium is a really weird drawing, and they're not even making it a dome in Vegas. So there's a split finger pitch and misses down. It's now 3-1. It's the really, really, really strange design. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Nishikawa. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded out and struck out in his 2 trips. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4. Nishikawa aboard with a 2-out walk, and that'll bring the top of the order. It'll be Yuji Kaneko. He said that if I'm in the Seattle area, I'm actually in Vancouver, in North Vancouver, British Columbia. So that is where we're at. Trying to get down to Seattle probably 4 or 5 times a year. I hope Major League Baseball gets a team in Portland. That would be pretty cool. I hear that Nashville is probably a leading candidate as well. So runner at first is Nishikawa. Kaneko is slated to be the hitter, but it's no longer Kaneko. We do have ourselves a pinch hitter here. This is number 63, Shinya Hasegawa. So he is coming on for Kaneko, who had a pretty good day today. Kaneko had a couple of hits. And the pitch is delivered, and it is down for a ball, and the count is 1-0 to the right-handed hitter, Shinya Hasegawa. Runner at first is Nishikawa. They throw over again, and again diving back safely in time as he gets up and dusts himself off. Jason says he's got a buddy who plays on the UBC hockey team. That's pretty good. I know that don't really know too much about that anymore. Don't get out to the Point Grey so often. There's a ball that is hit into shallow left field. Coming in on it is the left fielder, Akiyama. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it. As Hasegawa goes in the books for out number 3, and the 7th inning is in the books. So no runs in the inning. There was no hits. There was the walk to Nishikawa, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we move to the top half of the 8th inning, your score is the Carp 1 and the Lions 1. All the scoring took place in inning number 1, and we anticipate there will be no extra innings in this affair tonight. So stick with us, everybody. We'll be back with all the action in just a few. We anticipate yet another pitching change when we return. Welcome back, everybody. The pitching parade for the Lions continues. It's going to be a right-hander, and it's going to be Hiroshi Kaino coming on in relief of Tatsushi Masuda. So Kaino on in relief. He's going to be pitcher number 4 to be used here tonight. And slated to come to bat is going to be the catcher Shogo Sakakura, then the top of the order in Noma, and then the replacement for Matt Reynolds in the infield, and that would be the shortstop Futamata. So we'll get the play ready to go here in just a couple moments. So Futamata is now going to be in the game. There are some changes on the left side of the infield for the Seibu Lions. In at third base, wearing number 4 is Kakuro Yamanobe, and they have a new shortstop, but we didn't pick up the number of the new shortstop yet. So lots of changes all the way around for both of these ball clubs as we're getting into the deep water of this one. The first pitch to Sakakura is a breaking ball that misses upstairs for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Sakakura had replaced the starter Tsubasa Aizawa. He is 6 for 23 in the spring season, but this is his first at bat tonight as he swings through a fastball, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Our friend Samir says, who's going to win? This game here might end up as a tie. We haven't seen much action on the base paths since the first inning. Gracie says, when she goes home in April, the one thing I'm going to miss is the fresh fruit. Oh, absolutely. 100%. There's fruits that you can get in Costa Rica that I never heard of before or never had before, as there's a breaking ball that misses down. Count is now 3-1 to Sakakura. Different types of passion fruits and star fruits are always kind of neat. And the pineapples are unbelievable, that is for sure. Pineapples, the one thing you know about the pineapples when we get them here, as that fastball is taken for a called strike, and the count's 3-2. Pineapples here, you've got a bit of an acidic taste to it, and it's got an afterbite. In Costa Rica, there is no afterbite in their pineapples. They just go down smooth and easy. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. Gracie Lynn asked the question if there are any major rule changes in the NPB over last season. They did not adopt the clock at all, which sometimes is a little surprising. Usually what Major League Baseball does, the Japanese are quick to follow. Fastball swung on, grounded to second. Tonosaki fields it, throws to first. And that is going to retire Sakakura on a ground out, 4-3. So 1 gone here in the 8th inning, and that brings up the top of the order. And scheduled to come to bat is Shinsuke Noma. Jason says the clock sucks in his opinion. I'm mixed on it. I'm mixed on the clock. Last year, I was not happy that the clock was in place. But I do have to admit that the tempo and the pace of the game improved much better in Major League Baseball because of it. First pitch fastball, take it for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Noma. And a lot of that has to do with, the players hustle on and off the field. You got a couple of minutes between innings where the Japanese league is 1 minute. As that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. Jason says he can live with it because it does speed up the game. And I think that's an important part. I think the National Football League's got to start looking at the way their game is run. 3 hours used to be kind of the rule of thumb for a game. I don't have time to spend 4.5 hours in front of my TV. Fastball swung on, looped into left field. Coming in on it is Cordero. He's going to make the catch as Noma is going to be retired for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone here in the 8th. That's going to leave it up to the new shortstop, Futamata. Futamata tonight making his first appearance as Matt Reynolds got the start at third. He is in the shortstop position. First pitch fastball, take it for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Futamata bats from the right side with a very open stance. He's 5 for 23 in the exhibition season, hitting .217. No homers and 1 run driven in. Fastball swung on, and this is going to be lifted foul over on the first base side. The count now goes to 0-2. Friend Gracie Lynn says she's fine with most of the MLB rule changes, but the limit the pickoff attempts and the ghost runner and extras I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of the pickoff attempts either, limiting those. I'm also not a fan of having the ghost runner. I'd actually be more in favor as there's a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away, or sorry, foul tipped into the mid of the catcher. And Fuda Mata is gone for the third out of the inning, and that will do it here in the eighth. And the Carp go quietly in their half of the eighth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the eighth inning in Saitama. Your score is the Lions 1 and the Carp 1. I'll tell you when I come back what my thoughts are with respect to some of these rule changes around and about. Appreciate you guys for listening in tonight. We're glad you guys could be here with us to listen to all the action. We'll be back in just a few. We got a 1-1 scoreline here as we move to the bottom half of inning number 8. We'll be back in just a few. This game here is clipped along nicely tonight. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. The announced attendance for tonight's ball game is 7,099 people, and that is probably an accurate number. They do have a pitching change, as it is going to be the always popular number 120. Ken Sagita is coming on in relief. He is going to be pitching here. He is a first-round pick in the development draft by the Carp. Curious to see. I was hoping maybe we could get a chance to see Joseph Sinclair tonight. Sinclair is a first-round pick in the development draft for the Lions. He has come out of the Vancouver, British Columbia area, so interesting to see. Mother was Japanese. He was born in Japan, and he is going to get an opportunity at some point in time to be able to play. But slated to come to bat would be Tonosaki Moriyama. I think Aguiar is out of the game, so we'll see what happens there. But we have Ken Sagita, number 120 on the mound in relief. And the first pitch here from Sagita is a fastball. It's taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. Tonosaki tonight has reached base each time he's come to bat. He has singled twice, and he reached on an error his last time up. The pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and fouled away, but he finds himself in the hole here at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Tonosaki. On deck is now going to be Moriyama. Moriyama started the game at third base, and he has moved over to the shortstop position. And now at first base, it is another development player for the Lions, and we'll get that for you in a moment. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded back to the pitcher, fielded by Sagita. He throws to first. Tonosaki in the books on the ground at 1-3. He's gone for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away here. Well, as I say, we'll try to get you the development players as we possibly can. And it looks like they've got a player here, Brandon Singer, Tysinger, who is replaced Jesus Aguiar. He'll be batting third here. So Brandon Singer will be the one who is on deck. So Moriyama tonight 0-3. He takes a breaking ball down and away, and the count is quickly 1-0. Our friend Jason asked the question. He says, how do you watch the games here? There's a fastball swung on and missed. There's different ways that you can do that you can pick up the games watching the NPB games. A lot of people will go to Live QQ. It's going to be in a Chinese format. You're going to have to cycle around a little bit over there, but eventually you'll be able to find your way to be able to get it. And then there's some different ones as well that people will find. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. Nice hesitation pitch there by Sagita. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. You can see why he's the first round pick of the development training draft. He's got some smooth mechanics here as the right-hander now slowly lifts and now delivers. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and Moriyama down on strikes. He's gone for the second out of the inning. Just going back through some of the cycle here. Ephus pitch. Jason's talking about in his wiffle ball games. Gracie says she loves radio baseball over the TV, so she's fine hanging out here where you appreciate that. First pitch fastball to Singer is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Don't really have a whole lot of information on him. But no balls and 1 strike it is. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. Well, we always enjoy people coming in. I expect during the season, once the gets going for real, we'll have a larger audience, as we did last year. This for us here, this time of the year, it's obviously in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's not a ton of people that are coming in to listen to exhibition baseball. This is as much a practice for us as it is for the real thing. Our dress rehearsal in full effect. Here comes the 0-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks, pauses, and delivers. And there's a breaking ball that, nice play by Sakakura. That ball was destined for the backstop, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Curious this year, too, to see who's going to step up in the Japanese league. What are some of the new arms going to look like? Who's the next Roki Suzaki? Fastball swung on, grounded up the middle. And it's going to be knocked down by the shortstop, of the glove of the shortstop, Futamata, but he is unable to come up with the play. But that's going to be, well, I would think it would be an infield single. And that looks like it's going to be the end for Singer. So he gets 1 at bat, he gets a base hit, plays a little bit in the field, and his night is over. And Takeya Nakamura is slated to come up to bat next. And certainly the folks that we meet and the people that come in and listen to the games, and sometimes they're watching it in some of the other areas, I really like that as well. So 2 gone here with Nakamura still batting, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Carp have gone to their bench heavily. The Lions have had a couple of substitutions, but some of their regulars still in the ball game, such as Tonosaki and the big fella here, Nakamura. One thing I found fascinating last year, I've talked about in the past, that certainly North America has gone into a bit of a cancel culture at times. Takeya Nakamura, who was the home run leader in 2022, when he had that sexual assault case last year, he was basically banned from the Lions, and then he was sent packing. He is with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks this year. Fastball misses outside, counts 1-1. I don't know the situation, how that's been resolved or not, all the rest. That's not really for me to get into, but found it very fascinating in Saitama last year when I was there. There was not a drop. You couldn't see a picture. You couldn't see anything of Takeya Nakamura anywhere. Not a single spot of him anywhere to be seen. You get into the train stations, no pictures, nothing. There's a ball that misses, counts 2-1. It was like his 2022 season never existed. So that ought to say something about either the character of the individual or just the way that the Saitama people thought about that whole situation. And of course, with the club, they throw over to first base, and diving back in time as the pinch runner for Singer. I didn't quite catch the number. I believe it's Wataru Takamatsu, number 50, as he is running over at first base. So the batter here, Nakamura, waiting on the offering. Here's the 2-1, but instead they throw over to first and again diving back. They are concerned about Takamatsu running. Jason said it was all a lie. He didn't play. He's always been on SoftBank. Yeah, I guess. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul behind home plate. The count's now 2-2 to Nakamura. And they have a lot to worry about because Takamatsu was on the run. Slated to be on deck is Franchi Cordero. We'll see if he's going to get a chance to bat or if his night is done. He was the one responsible for that error back in the first inning. Or was it in the second inning when he had overrun that ball? Maybe it was even in the third inning. Actually, it was in the third inning, I think. And there's a fastball swung, and this ball is belted into deep left field. And this ball is going to be trouble, and this ball is going to be gone. Nakamura has deposited a 2-run shot into the seats. And this is going to give the Lions a 3-1 lead. Oh, everybody was being put to sleep in this one. But all the runs scored in the first inning and not a whole lot on the in-between. And now Nakamura turns a fastball around with 2 out. And that ball has been driven into the seats, and the Lions are now holding a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And I guess if there's any saving grace to this, it means we may not have a bottom of the 9th. So one less half inning in exhibition baseball for us. But Nakamura, who hit 17 homers last year, gets one here in the exhibition season. The longtime star of the Lions. So here's Cordero at the plate. He's getting another opportunity, and he takes a breaking ball down and in for a ball. Count is quickly 1-0. It's supposed to be Sosuke Genda, but he's come out of the ball game. So on deck after Cordero is Yamanobe. As there's a breaking ball that misses in the count, or sorry, catches the inside corner. Count goes to 1-1. As I said, even for us, it is exhibition baseball at its finest, but exhibition for us. There's a fastball swung on, the bat is broken. It's looped over behind the bag at second. And what a fantastic play by the shortstop, Futamata. As he was on the run, he dives and lays out and makes a fantastic catch to rob Cordero. I will say Cordero can feel snake bitten about that one. That one, the bat broke, but he wasn't able to turn that one around. That is going to retire Cordero for the 3rd out of the inning. 2 runs in the inning. The big blast coming off of the 2-run shot by Takeya Nakamura. So 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left the board. Your score as we move to the top of the 9th inning. It is the Lions 3 and the Carp 1. We'll be back in just a few with the final half inning. Hope you guys can stick around with us. Your score is the Lions 3, the Carp 1. Glad you could be in here with us for our exhibition baseball NPB style tonight. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change. It is going to be Albert Abreu, the former New York Yankee and Houston Astro, who is coming into the ball game. He had bounced around with the Rangers, the Royals. He had a second stint with the Yankees. And now he is a Seibu Lion, as he is coming on in relief here. So Abreu slated to face number of different players. It's going to be Tanaka, who is coming in to pinch hit. So we got a lot of different players that are coming up. So Tanaka in to pinch hit here. And we'll have to catch up with that as we go. On the first pitch he swings at, and he pops it up behind short. Backing over underneath it is the shortstop Motoyama, and he's going to be there to make the catch. And so with one pitch, one away, Tanaka is in the books for the first out of the inning. He came on to pinch hit there for Kaito Kazono. Now it's going to bring up Ken Nakamura to the plate. So Kosuke Tanaka gone for out number one. One pitch that was pretty quick work. So Nakamura steps to the dish here. This will be his, I believe, his first at bat of the night. Or is it the second at bat? And he grounded out 1-4-3 against Yan his last time. Or no, he struck out against Yan his first time up. And he takes the first pitch for a ball, and the count is 1-0. As I said, my score sheet's looking like a coloring book. All kinds of changes. It is supposed to be Shogo Akiyama who waits his turn on deck. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. So we've got one ball and one strike now as that pitch was fouled away. So 1-1 here. And there's a breaking ball that just misses off the outside corner, but the home plate umpire says that Nakamura went around enough to warrant that as a strike, and that's going to run the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Abreu ready to go back to work. He kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on it. His line softly over to the first baseman. That looks like it is Takamatsu who has come in to play first base, and he is going to make that grab. And that is going to retire Nakamura. He is gone for the second out of the inning. So the Carp are down to their final outs. Just as a quick reminder, we will give you some scores from around the NPB tonight. There are other games in action, and there are some late starts. Once this game is finished, we will wrap it all up for you then. So here comes the first pitch to Akiyama. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Akiyama tonight has been on base twice. He reached on an error by Cordero. He has doubled and struck out. Officially 1 for 3 in the books. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2. So Abreu coming in looking really impressive here. And the first time we've had a chance to see him play in a Lions uniform. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So as a reminder, we'll be back on the airwaves again tomorrow evening. Same 2 teams, same place, same channel. Hopefully you guys can jump in with us. There's a breaking ball that misses wide and away from the hitter Akiyama, and the count goes to 1-2. So we'll be back on the airwaves and making the calls all over again. Hopefully you can join us for those. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on, tapped slowly over to the first base coach's box, fielded neatly by the first base coach. That's going to keep the count at 1-2 on Akiyama. Should Akiyama get on, it'll be a Kota Hayashi coming to the plate. And there's a fastball taken for a called third strike at the knees. Akiyama stood there and watched that one go by. He's going to be gone for out number 3, and that is going to do it here as the Carp are done in their half of the inning. Well, it was the big blow in the bottom of the 8th by the big fella, Takeya Nakamura, that is the difference in this one. Your final score is the Seibu Lions 3 and the Hiroshima Carp 1. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a few to wrap this one all up for you. And also, to give you some of the scores from around the rest of the NPB. Thanks for hanging in with us. We'll be back in just a few. Stick around after this. Welcome back, everybody. We'll give you the rundown in this one here tonight. It was a fairly quick and efficient ball game, as it took just over 2 hours and 15 minutes to go into the books. Your final score was the Seibu Lions 3 and the Hiroshima Carp 1. Scoring got going in the top of the first for the Lions, a leadoff double by the Hiroshima Carp with 2 out. It was a home run by Kaito Kazono to get the scoring going. Solo shot to left field. It opened up the ball game 1-0 for the Carp. Bottom of the first inning, it was Yuji Kaneko led the ball game off with a double, then Shuta Tonosaki singled after a pop out by Moriyama for the first out. And then it was a walk to Jesus Aguiar to load the bases. Up stepped Takia Nakamura, and he hit a sacrifice fly to left field. And trying to tag from first going to second was Aguiar, and he was thrown out on the always popular 7-4 double play to end the inning. But that was evening the score at 1 apiece. And that's where it stood until the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 out, a single by Brandon Singer. And then he was pinch run for, and up stepped Takia Nakamura, who deposited a 2-run shot into the left field seats. He supplied all of the offensive thrust tonight for the Lions to give them a 3-1 victory. That's your final score. We'll take a quick peek around the rest. We have our friends here that were in our chat tonight. Gracie Lynn. We had the living room. We had Jason. We had God is Great. We had everybody else who popped in tonight. We want to thank you for that. So hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. We'll be back on again for tomorrow night, and then it'll be a couple of nights off. But taking a quick look from around the scoreboard in the NPB, in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Fighters are leading the Swallows 4-0. It is a 3-0 ball game for the Bay Stars over the Buffaloes. That game is in the bottom of the 7th. In the top of the 7th inning, the Dragons have a 3-2 lead over the Eagles. The other two games, the PayPay Dome, Fukuoka and the Tigers, that goes off at 6 o'clock local time or Japan time. And the Giants and the Marines, they also go off at the Tokyo Dome at 6 o'clock Japan time as well. Again, your final score 3-1. We appreciate everybody who had popped in here tonight. Once again, we thank you guys for being here with us. Hopefully you guys will see us tomorrow night. We'll be back on again. Thursday or Wednesday night we'll be off. And then we'll try to get at least 2 out of the 3 games on the weekend as well. Have a great night, everybody. We appreciate you guys for being here. Jason, keep it real, man. Great to hear from you and great to see you again in the chat tonight. Hopefully you can make it back in again with us tomorrow. Gracie, Lynn, you as well. We appreciate your support as always. Have a great night, everybody, and we will catch you on the flip side.